Terminator Dark Fate Defiance is a fairly solid-looking RTS that the demo is up on Steam. At least it is, or was. The text in-game is a little odd on that point. It may have been taken down on the 16th. From what I've seen through exploring the game, and by playing the first 2 missions, I lost the second one, and looking at the skirmish and the encyclopedia options, there will be a good mix of units, potentially up to 5 factions, though I'm going to bet 3 will probably be minor factions for the storyline. The demo plays well on my machine, which is a hair above recommended specs. I only played 2 missions, like I said, and why I failed the second one, some of it was me. Some of it could have been micro issues on commanding a specific unit that I was supposed to protect. And part of it could have been pathfinding on that unit. So, I'm iffy on that. I'm not too keen on the pathfinding to begin with in the game. So, the missions play well for the most part. And there is a fairly good variety of units. Specialized squads counter specific other units, like you have an anti-tank squad that counters, well, tanks and armor. You have snipers that are long range, fairly accurate, and as long as they have the range, they just tear apart the robot or the machine's infantry. As for vehicles, you have, on the human side, Abrams, Bradley, Stryker, Humvee. The machines have similar unit spread. You have the basic unit, which is a homunculi, which is like a prototype for the Terminators. You have the Terminators, which are kind of equivalent to the Rangers, and so forth. They have similar things, but in general, the robots and machines are slower than humans, but they have more health, and they have this kind of overall slow dread. They're very methodical in how they're presented, and I like that. They feel like a threat. The first mission takes place in Atlanta, as the machines are taking over. The nuclear bombs have dropped. The president, the vice president, the chiefs of staff, they're all dead. And you take command of the military forces that are trying to evacuate civilians. And the game does a reasonable job teaching you how the mechanics work. I had issues figuring out some of it, but it worked out. I figured it out. I was a little slow on it. Part of that is because I don't really play RTS games that have infantry. This has been somewhat new for me. Usually the Homeworld series doesn't really have infantry. Most of my RTS is either space-based or on a scale where you don't use infantry. So that's a me issue. I also dislike the mini-map in the way the camera to affect how you're viewing the map. That messed with my head. I think that's my dyslexia kicking in, but I do feel I need to mention that I did dislike that. Now, good things I liked about the game, again, the way the machines, they call it Legion in the game, are presented. They're slow, they're methodical, the sound design is excellent. If I closed my eyes, I could easily see the flashback sequences in the first movie, where you have that big tank cruising by that's... Well, and that big tank, from the silhouette that I've seen in the encyclopedia, or in the... no, it was looking at Skirmish. It's in the game. Now, my final thoughts on it? It's a solid game, but it doesn't... From the demo, it doesn't do anything to make it stand out. And going by the demo, I'm probably not going to buy it on release. I'll wishlist it, wait for a sale, but I'm also not a diehard Terminator fan. The franchise is not something that speaks to me in that manner. But I love the concept of doing a RTS from this perspective at this point in the franchise's history, during the machine takeover. That is very fascinating to me, and I probably won't look more into it until further on in its development. Now, if you'd like to see an unedited playthrough of me messing with the game, I will shortly have that uploaded. It's about 50 minutes of me messing with the game, probably a little less once I edit out the chaff at either end. So, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I will see you next time. Until then, bye-bye.